The instructional hierarchy is another useful framework for generating hypotheses about why a student is unable or can't perform a skill. Originally developed by Herring, Lovett, Eaton, and Hansen, the instructional hierarchy posits that students move through 4 stages as they learn and eventually master a skill. These 4 stages are 1. Acquisition, 2. Proficiency, 3. Generalization, and 4. Adaptation. Within each stage, there is a learning goal and a corresponding instructional method designed to help students achieve that learning goal. First, at the acquisition stage, when students are first learning a skill, students should develop accuracy. You know a student is at this stage when they perform the skill slowly and inaccurately. To help students initially acquire a skill and gain accuracy, teachers should provide instruction with lots of modeling, explicit instruction, and immediate corrective feedback. At the proficiency stage, after students have developed initial accuracy, students should develop fluency. You know a student is at this stage when they perform the skill accurately but slowly. To help students develop fluency, teachers should provide lots of opportunities to practice the skill, lots of independent practice, timed drills, and immediate feedback. At the generalization stage, after students have developed both accuracy and fluency, students should be able to perform the skill in novel situations. You know a student is at this stage when they are fast and accurate, but only when they practice the skill in the same kind of way that they've been taught. In other words, they haven't learned how to apply the skill in new settings yet. To help students learn to generalize the skill, teachers should provide opportunities for discrimination training, which is identifying when and when not to apply the skill, and providing differentiation training. Finally, at the adaptation stage, students should be able to apply the skill in novel and increasingly complex conditions. You know a student is at this stage when they are able to use information to solve novel and complex problems. To help students learn to adapt their skills, teachers should provide lots of opportunities for students to engage in problem solving or simulations of novel, complex problems. To use the instructional hierarchy to diagnose students' learning deficits and to identify the appropriate kind of intervention, consider the interaction between the accuracy and the rate at which students perform a skill. After determining the stage a student is at, educators can implement the corresponding instructional method that was discussed on the previous slide. For instance, if a student is slow and inaccurate, the student is at the acquisition stage. If a student is slow and accurate, the student is at the proficiency stage. If a student is fast and accurate, the student is at either the generalization or adaptation stage. The fourth option, if a student is fast and inaccurate, doesn't fall into one of the 4 categories or stages of the instructional hierarchy, but it is common for students with learning difficulties to display this pattern. In this case, educators should help students learn to self-monitor and self-regulate. In conclusion, the instructional hierarchy details how students progress from skill acquisition to being able to adapt the skill in novel, complex situations. The instructional hierarchy can be used to help educators diagnose why the student is struggling, i.e., what stage they are in, and what corresponding type of instruction educators should provide.